Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad. Take a dive on sports. And welcome to my day late, dollar short video in dealing with the recap of the conference finals of the NHL Playoffs. And I'll give you my Stanley Cup preview and prediction. And if you follow any of my videos in turning of the NHL, you realize I have no idea what the heck I am talking about. Every time I turn around, there's always one of my teams I've picked gets bounced. My preseason pick was Edmonton over Carolina. When the playoffs started, that was pretty good, but I decided to go with the hot team in the time frame, Boston, who set the league best winning wins and the winning points, and it was poised that Boston was out to prove everyone wrong. Then they got bounced in the first round to continue the President's Trophy curse that continues to haunt NHL teams that win that trophy. So then I went back to, I go back to Edmonton, and then they get bounced. So then, all right, I'm going to pick Carolina and Dallas. And here we are. But before I expose any more of my scars and not knowing anything about the NHL, it seems like this year, go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me, especially like the content provider. Really please, you two guys, will help promote this channel out. You also subscribe. Look, a lot of you guys review my work. I love you for doing that. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We talk about fun sports stuff here. All right, let's just go ahead and go back over the recap. The Florida Panthers. Remember, the Florida Panthers were the last team to get into the playoffs. Took on their purple roll, taking on probably the greatest team ever assembled, or at least perform on the ice, sending point marks and win marks for the season. Marks that no one ever thought would be broken, but these Bruins did it. They were almost completely dominant. And the Bruins had them on the ropes 3-1. They had them. But the Panthers clawed back. Their vicious forechecking, will just stifle the Bruins. And then beating the Bruins in overtime. Toronto was screaming, "We want the Panthers," so they thought that was an easy out. Florida jumped out on them. 3-0. Took the first three games. Totally took Toronto out of it and proved that Toronto is just the Toronto of old. That was great in the regular season and choked in the playoffs. Knocked them out in 5. So they got number 1 and number 4 team in the league. They came to Carolina Hurricanes, a team that I thought was really poised to make a nice run, deep run this season. I felt the hype of the Boston Bruins. And the Hurricanes were just poised to be another quality team. Like I said, the number 2 team in the league. And the Panthers swept them. They took the power out of the Hurricanes. They had no wind whatsoever. That first game was a 4 overtime game and went to the very end of that 4th overtime before the Panthers won that game. Won the second game in overtime. Won the third game 1-0. They were all the games were close. So all decided by 1 goal. But the Panthers were just took part in one of the most prolific offenses in the NHL and turned a hurricane into a light drizzle to make it to their second Stanley Cup final since 1996. This is Matthew Tkachuk's first appearance in Stanley Cup finals. He was the pride and joy of the Calgary Flames, got drafted. Can never get the Flames over the hump. Going to get traded down to Florida. I had high hopes in the preseason of them making another President's Trophy run. Injuries played a key factor in their early struggles throughout the season. Now they're in the final. Have Tkachuk being, the catalyst there, and for Hagee's another quality player with this lineup as well. And with them sweeping the Hurricanes, they had to wait. On the other side, Vegas was the number 1 team out west. I didn't really see that one coming from Vegas. I thought it'd be more Colorado. I saw they had no trouble against the Jets, even though they dropped the first game. But they turned around and just decimated, when it grounded the Jets, took out the shock and all. And the bright lights of Vegas were just too much for Winnipeg. As him taking them out in 5. And Vegas got Edmonton. This is one I thought Edmonton was going to take. Edmonton had the firepower. They had the star power. It was one of those teams that, you look at them and you're like, this is one that's going to be poised to make a nice run. Probably put the Edmonton Oilers back on the Stanley Cup. But they pretty much stifled the big guns for most of the time frame. I mean, besides like 2 games where Edmonton actually came out swinging, Game 2 and Game 4, where they posted, 9 goals to Vegas' 2. Beyond that, it was goaltending that was the downside to Edmonton, I would say. Vegas forechecking was another quality aspect in this game. They adjusted lineups, they adjusted defensive schemes, took the stars out of it. Draisaitl and McDavid didn't have much to do with the series, and that's key to the Golden Knights and how they defended them. Knocked them out in 6. So Dallas forced a Game 6. All the pregame hype, the Stars were just enjoying. They were looking forward to forcing a Game 7. They were that confident. Vegas confident, going, you know what, we're done with you guys. They jumped out 3-0 once again in the first period, and they didn't look back. They mopped the floor with the Stars. Shutting them out, winning 6-0 to take the series in 6 to make it to their second Stanley Cup Finals in 6 years. Probably one of the most successful expansion franchises in NHL history. I will still put the St. Louis Blues ahead of them because St. Louis went to 4 straight in their first 4 years, but just because how the NHL was set up that time frame, where when the NHL doubled in size, they put all expansion teams in one division. Philadelphia was another one that had greater success. They won Stanley Cup in in 7 years. I think Islanders took a late 8 or 11 years. Technically, Edmonton did it in 5, but Edmonton was a professional team way longer before joining the NHL. So Vegas puts themselves in kind of elite status when it comes to that mark if they win. The hockey guy did a great breakdown about that of those teams actually winning those cups. Now, one of Vegas' catalyst this year, once again, they also have a first-year head coach. And they also have Eichel, who they got from Buffalo. Last year, he wasn't much of a factor due to recovering from surgery. So he wasn't much of a factor. That's why Vegas didn't really make the playoffs last year, I think. But now he's completely healthy. This is his first ever playoff appearance. He's taking this team all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So now you look at the 2 leading teams right now in Vegas and Florida. 2 unsurprising teams. 2 teams are brand new head coaches. 2 teams with brand new stars that have lifted the team all the way there. They're very similar, even though don't look at the placements. Vegas is the number 1 team in the West. Florida number 8 in the East. But they play very similar. They have talented goaltenders. That's Bobrovsky for the Panthers and Hill for the Knights. And Hill's not even supposed to be the primary. But he has been standing on his head, making ridiculous saves. This is going to be a low-scoring series. These 2 goaltenders don't cough up a lot of goals. I mean, they do have bad days. Everyone does. But the teams know how to rally around. They know how to adjust. They know how to forecheck. This is going to be a physical game as well. These guys are going to be all over the ice, battling forth. I mean, you got Eichel and Tkachuk both trying to win their first Stanley Cup, the first time in the new franchises. This is the first time a brand new Stanley Cup champion will be crowned. So there's a lot of going in here. Now, some of the downsides is you have two Southern teams battling for the Cup. That's just how things played out. Right now, Tkachuk is like the number one point guard between the two teams. Right behind them is Eichel, and then Marchessault, and then for Hagee. But Bobrovsky for the Panthers, if they end winning, he could end up winning the Conn Smythe because he has been phenomenal behind the net. This one, I think, will go the full distance. I don't see any clear favorites in my eyes. I mean, these guys, like I said, are made and built very, very similar. Right now, I think all momentum is with Florida, especially since they knocked off the number 1, the number 2, and the number 4 team. Guess who's number 3? Vegas. If they can knock off the top 4 teams in the league and win the Stanley Cup, that will put the Florida Panthers probably one of the great NHL Stanley Cup champions of history. I know this is not something people want to see or want to hear, but if Florida could do this and knock off all 4 top teams after just getting into the playoffs, it's a testament to this team and to the coaching. And something that the Florida Panthers are building a very, very good club down there in South Beach, in Sunrise, Florida, actually, to be more specific, outside there in Miami. And I think this is the team that's going to be here for a long haul, especially if they're able to keep Tkachuk and Verhaeghe and Bobrovsky together. That's a nice trio, nice core to build around. And like I said, I will take Florida. It's going to be a 7-game series. I would not be surprised if Vegas wins this one either. Is the way they're built. This will be one of the greater expansion teams in the NHL history. They'll beat out Philadelphia by a year, then the quickest team to win the Stanley Cup. St. Louis has made more cups in a row before their run ended, but then, that's a different time frame, a different league altogether, it seemed like. But with Tkachuk and Verhaeghe, I think that the Panthers are just too well put together. Bobrovsky has just been a phenomenal wall between the pipes. Hill has let some games get past him. There's not been many that Bobrovsky has really. His last bad game was, I guess you could say, Game 4 when he let 3 goals in from the Hurricanes. Toronto, you had that one bad game when he lost, but he never let any more than 2 goals come in for Maple Leafs to score. Now, Boston, it took him a little while to kind of get his bearings, and then he did end up coughing up 6 goals in Game 4. But after that, he pretty much almost stunned him. I mean, Boston was just a prolific offense anyway, so it was kind of hard to keep them out of the net. But with that being said, I just think that it's going to be a 7-game series. I think the Panthers are going to win in Vegas. Nothing against the Knights. They had, like I said, they built a very great franchise out there in Vegas. They have the fan base has embraced them, have loved them, supports them wholeheartedly. But I don't think it's going to be the year. But I wouldn't be surprised because I think, like I said, Game 7. So it could go either way. But that's my pick. Pick's the Panthers. We'll see how that happens. This whole Stanley Cup playoff run has been an absolute nightmare for me trying to pick someone. So only time will tell if I'm actually correct on this aspect, but we'll see how that happens. Just let me know down below what you think of this playoff series. Are you excited about this final? Or which one are you rooting for? Just let me know down in the comments below. Once you're down, and make sure you hit that thumbs up once again. You can also share the video with friends and family, where it helps promote this video out. Once you subscribe, make sure you turn on notifications, click that bell icon, and let you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.